Alright guys, let's get started. So in the last week, we have already learned how to use some very fundamental command inside Rhinosys, including loft and also extrusions. And for sure, the one that we are already familiar with, sweep 1 and sweep 2. That's some very basic and also common use command inside Rhinosys. And right now, we are about to do some more advanced practice. And after that, we are about to start a case studies. So we can start to do the model, something like a car or something like a rocket, something like an airplane, etc. So before that, let's try to do some integrations practice. So here is the first one. For this case, I think it's a very good case to show the feature of rhinoceros. This is a twisted box. So you can see that for all the face right here, they are twisted a little bit, right? And all of them have been rotated into 90 degrees on different directions. And how to make this one? How can we make this one? Usually for the student, probably you guys will think, okay, so probably I can find some tools like rotation here and create a box first and then using rotation to twist it that and get this kind of twisty geometry, something like that. And also that's a very common same idea that we can apply in Blender or CDS Max, but it's not accurate at all. In some rhinoceros, the geometry is a very important idea. So all the things that we are working on, we have to think about the geometry features of this one. So let's take a look about this guys. So first things, if we go to the top view, if you go to the top view, actually you will find out these guys actually is a simple cube with the equal dimension in the different axes, including x, y, and z. So basically, it's just a simple cube, right? It's just a simple cube. And for the surface on the border side, you can see that it twisted a little bit, but all of them are seamless. So which means that actually all these faces, they are the same one, but with a different direction, different rotations, so that we can get these guys. So that's the key idea. Before you make a model, please try to analyze how it be composed. Probably it can be simplified as some primitives like cylinder, cone, cube, etc. Then we can keep sculpting and keep adding detail. That's the main thing. So no matter how complicated it is, even you are working on an organic model, still using the same idea to work on that. Probably you can still simplify that one as some simple geometry like cube, like cone, like sphere, etc. Then using the modeling way to add some more detail. So that's the things. Okay? That's the things. So let's take a look about how to make this one. Then I will give you some time to do the practice. So here we go. For this model, just like what we said before, we start with a simple box, right? And then we can analyze how this one be twisted. So how this one can be bended. And then since they are seamlessly, so which means all the curve on the border they're supposed to be equal. Which means for this guy, actually they have the certain curvatures for this one. And same as this one. So for all of them, actually they are the same. So let's try to do that. Let's start with the simple cube. I will copy this one so that you can see the operation step for this simple twisted cube. So the first one, let's go to the left sidebar, go to find the cube. And just like the main things we have mentioned before, if you want to make the things be very accurate, precise, then we have to using the command bar to type in the number. It will be better. So let's choosing one corner point. Then type in the number you want to have, probably around 90, enter, and finally 90, enter. So basically we enter the XYZ direction into this model, into this command and get this cube. The next things will be about the curve right here. So that one is very simple. So we can just simply using a control point curve to do that. Let's go to here, control point curve, choosing the border point, the middle, the border, and press enter to finish this command. So now you can get this curve. For this part, probably you have to adjust a little bit to make this one not be bent that much. So let's move them up. So that's the things we can get. And for the other side, let's try to do that again. So do we have to redo the same things? Actually, we don't. After all, the upside and the downside, they are the same one, just in a different directions. So we can just simply mirror that. Let's go to here, go to transform, mirror, right here, choosing the object. And the first thing you have to do is to create a mirror plane. So which means that you can just imagine that the mirror plane is just like a mirror. So this object you choose will be mirrored, be reflected to the other side. So obviously the mirror plane will be here to here. So now you can get that. Okay, now you can get that. So the twisty, the bending value will be depends on the curvature of the curve. If you think this is a little bit too much, for me I think this is a little bit too much, then we can just adjust that. So let's rotate, move them up. And let's do that again, transform, mirror. Let's do it again. Choosing a curve, go to transform, mirror, and copy. So now we have this one, okay? So for the other side, how can we do that? How can we do that? Let's finish this one and give you some time to do that, to do the practice. So for the rest of the two sides, I mean for this side and that side, actually they are the same things. I mean they use the same curve just like the upside and downside. So very simple. Let's just copy this one. Hold on your Alt key on your keyboard, move this one to here, and we have to rotate this guy to the right direction. So let's try to rotate 90 degree. And also rotate here 90 degree. All right, so probably I do the wrong side. Let's rotate again. Okay, so that's the right side. You can take a reference right here. So okay, now we are in the right direction. Let's move them to here. Okay, so now we have. So the last things we have to do, let's transform the viewport to the wireframe so that you can see more clear. Or you can transform that to the X-ray mode. Go to here, go to the title of the viewport, and click the little triangle. You can see that there are multiple ways for display. I will choose the X-ray so that you can see the inner part. All right, so the last thing is very simple. Let's go to surface. Go to find sweep 2. Choosing the trail, choosing the curve, press enter. So now we can get this one. That's the things we are going to use for the finals. Okay, so I will move this one up so that you can see that. All right, so that's it. For the rest part, it's just about to duplicate and rotate this surface. Let's give you some time to finish this operation, then we can keep moving forward. Keep recording. All right, so for the next things, we have already finished the surface inside, right? Let's turn the display mode to the poster so that you can see that. Let me undo that. Okay, you can see. So now we use the ghosty mode to see the whole object. So you can see through the entire model. So first thing is, how can we turn this surface into the twisted cube like this? Very simple. Basically, all the different direction is just about to rotate the surface to a different angle. So first thing is that since this one, think about this one just like a puzzle. Let's copy one more. Copy surface. Hold on Auto key. All right, hold on Auto key. And then I have to rotate this one to 90 degrees. So let's choose probably Y direction, 90 degrees. all right? And I want to put this guy to here. So obviously we have to rotate again, negative 90 degree. Sorry, not negative, probably just 90 degree. All right, so now we have this one. That's using transform, move tool, move them to here. So now we got the first twisted surface. And how about the rest one, the side one? For the side one, the same idea. Let's just since them are the same surface, so let's just rotate again. Hold on the Auto key, and then you can do the rotate and copy in the same time. Let's rotate this guy to 90 degree, and also rotate this one into the Y direction, the green axis. So now we have the horizontal one. So let's using move and copy this guy to here. All right, so now we have this one. I think right now we don't need the cube anymore, so you can just simply delete that. Okay, you can just simply delete that. For the rest of part, I think I don't have to repeat that again. You can just simply duplicate, copy, and mirror that. So for example, like this one, how can we put this guy to the other side? You can use using mirror options, and copy this one to another side. For this one, same idea. Let's just using transform, mirror, and copy this one to the other side. How about the last one, the upper part? Same idea. Let's just using mirror and copy this one. Sorry. Probably for the upper side, it's not that easy to copy, but it's okay. We can use in the gumbo to do that. Hold on your Auto key for copy and using scale to mirror this one. Let's hold on Auto key and click the scale in the Z direction. Type in -1. So now we can get that. Let's use the move tool to move this one to the right position. So now we get this, guys. So first things, the things you have to do, I would suggest you rather than using shady mode, using ghosty mode to see through the model. Then for the rest of the part, it's just about copy, rotation, and mirror. Copy, rotation, and mirror. Just repeat these operations, then you can get the final model. All right? Let's give you some time to finish this one. Probably it requires you to think about how to rotate, to think about which one is the right direction. But it's not that hard though. Just take time and you can finish this one. Let's give you some time to finish this one. Yes? So let's take a look about the surface, the twisted cube that we just created. So you can see that probably your color will be a little bit different from mine. It is fine because for my setting, I make some color difference between the front view, the front surface and back surface. So probably for your case, you won't have this kind of display mode, but it is fine. All right, let's take a look about the surface. Right now, you still can using your mouse to click the surface, all of them, one by one, right? So, which means that inside rhinoceros, they are still separated. They are not one intact object. So, there are two ways to make them look like an intact one single object. Let's take a look. So, this is the first one. We can use choosing all of them using your mouse. Hold on the left mouse button using frame selection to select all of them. Go to edit, choosing group right here. And the hotkey will be Ctrl and G. Let me repeat that again. Choosing all of them using a left mouse button to frame selection all of them. Go to edit, group, and choosing group. And the hotkey will be Ctrl and G so that you can make them become one. And another one, I think you guys already know that before. We can just simply select all of them. Press Ctrl and J on your keyboard or go to edit, choosing join them together. And you will find out why the color turned into different colors. So what's the difference between these two? When you select the object, Rhino will tell you the object information in the command bar. So for example, let's choosing this one, and you can see that one closed poly surface added to selection. That's the information Rhino provides you. So which means This model is a closed poly surface and it is one single object. Now let's take a look for this one. The choose, you will see the information right here. 6 surfaces, 3 curves added to selection. So which means that although right now you can move them, you can rotate them a single one object, but actually they are still separated 6 surfaces and also 3 more curves here. They are just a temporary group, then when we group them into one single object, but actually by definition, they are still separated. So please remember this one. The difference between Ctrl G for group and also join for join object together. This one will merge the object a single one, and this one will just temporarily combine them as one, but actually they are still separated. And in the future operation, it will cause a lot of differences. So when you are working on the model, please remember the difference between join and group. All right, so that's it. I will stop right here. Let me delete the case right here and turn on all the rest of the things. So the next things I'd like to do will be about flow. But I won't using this one. I want to use this one as a case. Okay? So inside Rhinoceros, we can ask Rhino to help us to make the object follow a target object to move and be duplicated. So for example, like this one, if you are going to make a chain, or probably you are going to make some repetitive objects, follow a line to move, then we can use this one to do that, like the tape, like the chain, etc. So how can we do that? Let's take a look. I will focus on this one. We can hide all the rest of the things. So let's take a look about this. So first things, for sure you have to choose what kind of object you are going to make them flow. So for this time, I will use the cube that we just created. Let me duplicate that one. All right, so that's the target object. I'm going to make them flow. And the second thing is that you have to choose what kind of curve you are going to use, and using that one as the rail, force the object to follow that one to flow. So let me randomly draw a curve, probably something like that. Okay, so this is a curve. Once you finish, press enter. For the flow, please make sure your curve is not too complicated. Otherwise, your model will be distorted or twisted a lot. So let's try to simplify that. All right, and maybe we don't need so many control points. So if you don't need them, then just simply delete that. So now I have a curve like this. So next thing, we have to create a reference curve that will be here. Basically, I think it will be a straight line, connect the endpoint and also the start point of the target curve. So now we have 3 things. The object you want to flow, and also the curve that you are using for the target, and also a curve for reference. So that's the 3 things we need to have for when we are going to flow the object to the target. So now we can try to do that. So first things, let's try to copy this one and make them, it depends on how many objects you want to make them follow the target curve. So probably I have to copy them more. So let's choosing copy, choosing a reference point, and start to copy them. You have to choosing the reference point to do the copy. Or, sorry, not this one. Okay, probably 1 more or 2 more. All right. So now we have around 7 twisted cube. And more or less, the length of the cube can be similar to the reference curve. So I prefer you guys using group to group this cube. It will be easier for you to do the selection, but it's not necessary. So up to you. If you want to follow my operation, you can completely follow that. But if you think it's a little bit trouble, so you can just ignore this process. But for me, I will select them and do the group. All right, so now we have the group right here. So how can we do the flow? The flow command is right here. You can take a look is right here, transform, and flow along curve. And if you want to use a command bar to do that, just simply type in flow here. So after that, you can just simply follow the instruction from Rhinoceros. First thing, select object to flow along a curve. So which means we have to select all these twisted cube. Press enter. Next thing, base curve. So which means the linear curve which connect the endpoint and the start point. So it will be right here. Finally, target curve. So that's the things we are going to flow. So it will take some time and it will be turning out like this. And why this one looks like that? And why this part turn out looks like, okay, totally twisted? All right. So why is that? That's because the distance between this one and also the target curve. And because it will create an offset effect so that it will be twisted right here. If we fix that, we can just simply move this one to here. I think it will be better. Let's do it again. Transform, flow the curve, choosing the object, press enter. Choosing the reference curve, press enter. Sorry, I forget one thing. Let's do it again. Object for flow, enter. Base curve, enter. And finally, sorry for that. Object, enter. Base curve, target curve. Okay, better than before, but still some problem. Now this is because of this distance between the two. So the best way is put all of them together and get a better flow. So anyway, let's take a look about the option inside. Inside the flow, there are some interesting things that we can change. Let's do the flow again. Third thing, choosing the object. Second thing, choosing the base curve. Third thing, choosing the target curve. So for here, you can choose change the setting. So for example, you can make them be stretch. If you make this one be stretch, which means that although the length of the object you are going to use for flow probably is not the same length like the target curve, but it will force the object to be stretched. So it will be transformed and make the length be equal. And another one is about the rigid. Right now it's no, so which means that all the objects they will be deformed. But if you choose yes, it will cause something. So it will make the object only follow the curve to rotate because all the objects they are rigid, so it cannot be rotated. It cannot be transformed. So that's an interesting two things that we can try. And depends on how the precision of your model. So for example, when you are working on the tab of the tank, obviously it's made out of metal, so it cannot be stretched. So we have to keep all the elements equal size. So in that case, we will using the rigid object. So, all right. So that's the thing. So let's give you some time to do the practice. Then we are going to end up this practice. So this is the case that we are going to practice. Basically, it's like a World War II tank. For sure, the detail part, there are still some different. This one looks complicated, but actually, for a technical level, it's not that complicated, not that hard at all. So first thing is let's take a look about the look of this tank. So first thing is this tank basically except the cannon, all the rest of part they are symmetry object. So which means that for the right side they are exactly the same like the left side. So which means that we only have to build one side and it will be quite enough. Then once we finish the base part, then we can start with the cannon. For the cannon part, that will be the most complicated part. But basically, if you can follow the things we have teach you before, then there's no problem for that. And how about the detail? Let's take a look, like the wheel, or probably like the gear, okay, like the bolt, all these kind of little things. It looks complicated, very complex, but actually they are just repetition of same object. So we can just build one, then copy them to the rest apart. So that's it. And inside this model, also we will try to use some advanced command to refine our modeling process to make everything simpler. So that's the idea for this part. And just let me remind you, this one will be one of our midterm examinations, so please get used to that. Another one will be about a rocky model. That one will be easier, but pretty much the same idea. All right, let's get started. Let's turn this one to shady mode so it will be easier for you to see. So where should we start? I will start with the wheel. The wheel will be the most easy one. Okay, so let's choosing the wheel. Let's get started. So how can we build the wheel? So first things, for the wheel, I'd like to use cylinder as a basic model. So let's go to this part, choosing the little triangle here, choose cylinder, right? The second one, cylinder. So now choosing a random center point. Hold on your shift key. Remember, please hold on your shift key so that you can make this one face to the X and Y direction. Let's do it again. Choose center, and you can define a radius. For me, I want to use 30. Enter. Extrude probably around 60 or 90 too much. Probably around 50 will be quite enough. Okay, so now we have this cylinder. And before that, I want you guys to do one more thing. For this model, I don't want this guy to be a regular model. Please do this for me. Select the model, and under the command bar, type in block, B-L-O-C-K, and choose a base point, and type in the name inside the block definition property. Let's call this one wheel, and up to you, okay? So now this one becomes a block. Let me type the text for you so that you know what's the name of this command. Block. Okay, so what's the function of the block? For the function of the block is that it can make the connection between the model. So for example, let me copy this model. Let's copy. All right, let me reset this one. Let's copy. Copy two more. So since they are the same object, so basically we can just simply copy the wheel to on the tab. But what if I want to change the design of the wheel? Do I have to change all of them, or do I have to reduplicate them to the different positions? It will be a little bit annoying. So for the block, it can help you to connect the model. So for example, right now you cannot just directly edit this model. You have to double click, enter the block editing. Now, if you add one, two, or maybe if you add some more new things here, once you click confirm, all the rest of the model will follow the same setting and do the change. So that's the features of the block. Basically, it can help you to connect the information together. All right? So I will stop right here. So please help me to finish this part. I think it's not special. It's very simple. Just two things. First thing, cylinder. Second thing, block. That's it. So let's give you some time to finish this operation. Then we will keep moving forward. So once you turn the model into block, basically no matter what kind of thing you make right here, it will automatically reflect on the other model that you copy. But please just remember, if you want to edit the block, you cannot just directly do the editing right here. You have to double click, enter the block editing mode, and do the change right here so that the things will be changed. And also one important thing, when you are working on the block editing, please don't do the scaling or don't do any kind of deformation for the model. If you do that, unless you do this using the same proportion, if you do this one cannot be added anymore. So please remember this case. Okay. All right. So now let's keep moving forward. Let's go to the block edit mode. Now we are going to edit the model right here. So this is a reference model. Basically, we have a center gear right here, and also some bolt. And also on the border, you can see that it's a surface, a smooth surface. So let's start with that. So first things, we can choosing the center surface. This one, okay, and hold on your Shift and Control key so that you can select the center face. And hold on your Auto key and also Shift key. You can copy this one. Okay, so now we copy one more new surface here. All right, let's do that again. So first things, if you want to select the sub-object of this cylinder model, you have to hold on the Shift and Control key. All right, just like this. And next thing, once you select the top face, I want to copy this one. So let's hold on Auto. And I want to copy this one and also scale this one a little bit in all directions. So I will hold on Shift key. So let's do this. So now I have this one. All right. So basically, right now I copy one more surface, one more circle surface on the top. Now next part, I want to extrude this part. Let's choose in the gunboat and click the little blue dot in the center. Extrude. All right. So now I have this one. So it will look like this. The things I'd like to do is to using this one to cut out from the bottom object. So basically, that's the reason I want to create this one. Right now, it's a little bit different from Blender or 3ds Max. So if you want to make this kind of engrave or the void space, we have to using another way to do that. So anyway, right now I have another cylinder on the top. So I want to cut off from the bottom cylinder. How can we do that? Please go to here. There is an option which name booleans. I think that's a very common name that you have heard for many times if you have experience about using the 3D software. Let's click the little triangle on the button. The things we're going to use is the Boolean difference, which means that we are going to using one object to cut out from another object. So let's choose in this one, the Boolean difference. So let's do this. So first thing is select the surface or poly surface to subtract from, which means these guys. Press enter. Now choosing this one, the one I want to use it for cutting. Enter. So now this one has been successfully cut out from the bottom side. So that's it. And how about the upper part? Let's just scale down this guy. And I want to make this one longer, make this one become the gear. It's ready. Okay, so that's it. That's the basic one. I will click confirm, so all the change will be reflected to the other model. I will stop right here and give you some time to finish this operation. Just let me remind you again. Please remember this one. If you want to select the object inside this model, you have to hold on Shift and Control to select the sub-object. And if you want to copy, you have to hold on Auto key for copy the object. And also, you can still use Shift key for proportions editing. So that's it. Basically, I think that's all the important hint for this operation. Let's give you some time to finish this operation. All right. So in the last operation, we have already finished the basic wheel model like this. We have a gear in the center. We have the wheel mass. So basically, I think it's pretty much done, more or less. But the rest of the part will be about the detail. So let's keep moving forward. So the next thing, I wanted the boulder can be like a smooth surface. So not that kind of sharp, it doesn't look right, right? So the things we have to do is use another command to create a surface between this one and that one. So which means this one and that one, and make them have a very smooth connection between them. So in order to do that, the command we are going to use will be this one, the fillet surface. Okay, the fillet surface. Sorry for that. I think I don't know why, but my interface mix between Chinese and English. But anyway, this one, which name fillet. Okay, so fillet surface right here. And for the Chinese version, it will be 曲面圆角. Okay? So let me explain the idea of the 曲面圆角 of the field leg to you guys. So for example, right now we have this curve and also this surface. We have two surfaces right here. This is a section, okay? This is a section. So for the field leg surface, it will ask you guys to give you a specific radius between these two. So for example, I want to create a surface that has maybe around 10 centimeter radius between these two. So how can you do that? So it will do something like this. So for example, this one, minus 10, minus 10. And the things field leg surface will do for you is that it will create here, this one, a circle which has the 10 centimeter in radius for you, and connect these three curves together. Let me show that to you. So how to connect them together? By the end, it will look like this. Okay, so it will look like that. So basically, for this one, it will be a radius 10 curve for this surface, or for this curve. There are two things. One is field leg curve. Another one is field leg surface. Right now we are using the field leg surface, but I just use the curve to show you the example. All right, so now let's try to do that. So obviously right now it is impossible to create a very thick radius surface for this part because it doesn't have enough distance. So enough space for us to do that. So let's click this one. Probably I will using maybe 6. Let's try. And click this one and that one. All right, it failed because this part doesn't have enough distance to do that. Let's try to do that again. Let me measure this part. All right, it only have 5.9, not very precise. Okay, it's okay. All right, let's try to change that one to 3. And choose this surface and that surface. So you can see that it successfully create a radius 3 surface between this curve, this surface and that surface. Now the problem of radiuses is that basically once we do that, it will split all these surfaces into 3 different surfaces. So it will be a little bit annoying. So we have to choose all of them, Ctrl J for join them again. So they will become one again. All right, so how about the bolt right here? You can take a look. Right now, right here, I have some bolt. Basically, they are just simply sphere. So we can just using the same idea to do that. Let's go to here, the box, click the little triangle to find the sphere here. Click. And I want to draw probably around here, choosing this middle point as a reference point. Draw a circle. And for the radius, I think it can be 3. Press enter. So now we have the radius 3 circle. I want to use this one as the bolt for our wheel. All right. Probably it's a little bit too huge, so we still can scale down this one, maybe 0.7 or something. This one will be looks better. Or if you think it is fine, I will just keep like that. Okay. So next thing, how can we copy this one to another side? Very simple. Let's choose in this surface. And first thing we have to find the rotation because we are going to using rotate to copy that, just like the alien juicer's leg. If you remember that, let's try to find the center point of this circle. Let's draw a curve right here. Let's using polyline to draw a curve so that we can find the center point. That will be easier for me. But also, if you turn on the center point, you're supposed to can find the center point of this surface. All right. Anyway, let's choose this one. Just like before, let's choose in transform, rotate. And for this time, I'm going to using copy equal yes. So please change this one to yes. Now let's choose the center point of the surface of the circle. And choosing one of the reference points, and you can start to rotate. Probably 45 degree, 90 degree, 135 degree, and 180 degree. So that will be the things. How about the rest part? For the rest part, for the bottom part, let's just copy them and mirror them. Let's choosing transform again. Go to mirror. All right, so now we have. That's it. Click OK, and it will be reflect to the other model. So just simple two things. First thing is the field laid surface, this one. Second thing, create a sphere and using that one as the bolt and using transform and the copy rotations to copy them to a different position. So that's the things I need you guys to do from me. So I will give you some time to finish these operations. So now we already have this basic wheel. So the rest of the part is just about add some detail. For example, like some crease on the wheel and also some detail in the center. So that's the things I want you guys to do for me. For this part, again, let's just double click to enter the block. And how to add some detail for the center. You can have the freedom to design the detail by yourself. But right now, I just show you how I do that. So for this one, again, using Hold Shift and Control key in the block edit mode, copy one more, hold on the Auto and Shift key, copy one more sphere and one more surface, extrude again, extrude again. So now we have another one in the center, so more detail right now. All right. So next thing is, for this part, you can make this one hollow again, just like this old trick that we have used before. For this time, probably I won't do that. I will just keep like this one. So right now, all of them, they are separated. Okay, they are separate. So I want them become one. How can we do that? For this part, if you just directly select all of them and go to here, choosing join, it won't work. Okay, it won't work because the join, this one, the join only works for open surface like this one. This one is the open surface. And if you want this one can be merged with probably this one, yeah, we can do that. Control J for join, it will become one. But if they have connection, sorry, let me give you some primates. So if they have connection between them, you can use join to join them. But for the solid object like these two, they are closure surface, so you cannot use join for combine them. So how about Boolean? For the Boolean, how about group? If you're using group, basically they are still separated. They just looks like one, but actually they are still separated. So in this case, if you want to merge, if you want to combine two solid objects, again, we need to use in Boolean. We need to use in Boolean unions, this one. So Boolean union is very simple. Just choosing the one you want to combine, choosing Boolean union, and please remember your object must be a closure surface. So once you do that, this one, these two will become one. So you can see that right now they have been merged together. Even you use the X-ray to see that, or wireframe mode to see that, you can see that there's no intersection anymore because they have been merged together. And now we can also you can hold on Control and Shift key to do the sub-editing of this object. All right, so if you want this one can extrude, or we can choosing the curve here and scale down a little bit, make the center part be smaller. We can do that right now. So now we have this one. Next thing I want to do the fill layer surface again. Let's choosing this one. And this time they change the radius to 1. Fill layer surface, add some more detail. And please remember to join them together because for fill layer surface, it will separate the object that you create. All right, so now we have that. How about the crease? Right? How about the crease? For the crease part, I will stop right here. Give you some time to finish this part first, and so that for next time we can try to add on some more detail. Okay.